The morning begins like any other on Earth, the sun rising slow, the streets filled with noise, the laughter of 10 human students who prepare for what they think will be an ordinary day. A field trip to the mountains, their teacher smiles, their parents wave from doorways, the bus rattles down the road filled with music and chatter, the air warm with life and innocence, the road winds into the hills, the bus carrying its cargo of youth and hope. Then the world changes, a rumble tears through the sky. Like thunder though, no storm clouds can be seen. The students lean to the windows pointing upward, eyes wide, hearts racing with curiosity, for above them the heavens open. A vast ship emerges from the void, darker than the night sky, though the sun still burns high beams of red and gold slash downward, seizing the bus and lifting it from the earth, as though it were no heavier than a leaf in the wind. Panic fills the students' voices, the bus shakes metal screaming as it rises through the air. Cars on the road below scatter in chaos. People scream, pointing at the impossible sight, their phones raised, recording what their minds cannot grasp. The teacher clutches the children close, her own face pale with terror, though she whispers words of comfort. She does not believe herself above the clouds. The bus vanishes into the belly of the alien vessel, which seals itself with a shimmer of light. The ship hovers for only a moment, then roars away, leaving behind silence, broken only by the wails of parents and the rumble of collapsing asphalt. Where the bus once rolled, the world feels suddenly smaller and colder within the ship. The students find themselves no longer in their bus, but in chambers of glass shaped like coffins, suspended in the air. They pound against the transparent walls, their fists bleeding, their cries unheard. The teacher floats in another cell, her eyes fierce, though she too is helpless. The air within the cells is thin, the light dim, the machines that hold them hum with power beyond human knowledge. Across the planet, broadcasts ignite, every screen shows the same image, the 10 students displayed inside their prison. The emblem of the Galactic Empire burning behind them. A voice echoes cold and sharp across languages, declaring humanity weak, declaring the Empire supreme, declaring that this is only the beginning. The message is not for negotiation, it is not for diplomacy, it is for tyranny. Every city, mothers collapse to the ground, fathers shout at the sky, siblings cry out in disbelief, children ask where their friends have gone. The governments of the world scramble, leaders gather in panic, their voices rising above one another, demanding answers, but no answer comes, only silence from the stars. That silence feels heavier than any weapon. It is the silence of dominance, of a predator marking its prey, the silence of an empire that does not expect resistance. Yet, even as despair spreads like fire, there is a spark within the hearts of those who watch, a whisper of defiance that has not yet taken shape. For the abduction of 10 students will not be the end, it will be the beginning. Far beyond the earth, the stolen students awaken to the hum of alien engines. The walls of their prison glow faintly with shifting patterns, like constellations that move and breathe. The air tastes sharp and cold, their lungs aching, as if the very atmosphere rejects them. Each of the 10 children pounds against the glass, their voices muffled, their cries echoing in the vast chamber. But none of the sounds matter, for the Empire did not bring them here to be heard, they were brought to be Galactic Empire stretches across countless worlds, its rule unchallenged for centuries, its voice law, its hand iron upon entire civilizations. Yet within its towering capital city, a new spectacle is arranged, one meant to remind the galaxy of the Empire's dominance. The 10 human students are placed inside translucent pods, set upon a colossal platform. The alien citizens gathered by the thousands, their eyes strange, their whispers sharp as they gaze upon the fragile captives, small, weak, and trembling. High above the platform, a figure cloaked in silver armor addresses the crowd, its face hidden, its voice amplified across the stars. It speaks of a new species discovered. It speaks of humans as reckless children daring to rise from their small world without permission. It declares that the Empire will take what it desires and punish what it pleases. The children are trophies, symbols to demonstrate what fate awaits those who resist. The message does not remain in the capital alone. It spreads across every corner of the Empire. Entire star systems watch. The images projected before them, the 10 human students, their hands pressed to glass, their eyes wide with fear, their youth turned into theater. Some worlds watch in silence, too afraid to question the Empire. Others whisper uneasily among themselves, for even the strongest once began small and powerless. And Earth, the broadcasts play across every screen, from crowded cities to quiet villages. The sight of the children locked away pierces every soul. Parents grip their televisions in tears, siblings stare in disbelief, leaders gather in frantic councils demanding how to answer the insult. The humiliation burns deeper than fear, for the Empire has not only taken their children, it has placed them upon a stage and mocked the world for its helplessness. The governments try to send messages pleading for their release. Their signals vanish. Into the void, unanswered silence is the only reply. Silence and the continuing broadcast of their suffering. Humanity realizes the Empire has no intention of bargaining. The students are not hostages for trade, they are tools of humiliation, living warnings carved from innocence. The longer the images play, the heavier the despair becomes. Yet within that despair, seeds of fury take root. No leader can contain the anger that grows within the people. Protests swell in the streets. Voices rise, demanding action, demanding that Earth must fight back, even if the cost is greater than imagination. For dignity cannot be surrendered. The Empire believes it has broken humanity with fear, but fear becomes fuel and humiliation becomes fire, and from that fire, a storm begins to gather, one that the Empire cannot yet see but soon will face. In the heart of Earth's capital cities, leaders assemble in secret chambers, their faces pale with exhaustion. Screens flicker with images of the 10 students trapped within their glass prisons, the emblem of the Empire burning behind them. The soundless cries of the children echo in every mind. The weight of helplessness presses upon the room, yet beneath that weight a dangerous spark begins to form. Generals slam their fists upon tables. Maps of the stars scatter across displays, showing routes of alien vessels, intercepted transmissions, fragments of strange languages decoded by desperate scientists. Some argue for surrender, claiming humanity is not ready to confront a power that rules galaxies. Others shout for defiance, unwilling to allow Earth to kneel like prey. The debate rages, but no agreement can soothe the fury of the parents who stand outside the walls demanding action. Crowds grow restless in the streets, candles lit in mourning, songs rising in grief, yet those songs twist into chants of anger. Protests surge through cities, voices shaking towers as the people cry for rescue, no longer satisfied with promises, no longer willing to wait. Every broadcast of the captured children pours fuel upon the fire. Ordinary citizens lift banners painted with defiance. Entire nations begin to demand unity against the invaders within the scientific halls. Engineers examine fragments of alien wreckage collected from past crashes, hidden away by governments for decades now, brought forward in desperation. Their hands shake as they fuse human steel with alien energy. Strange crystals powering engines unlike any seen before. Laboratories glow with sparks and smoke, minds working without rest. Entire generations of knowledge forced to evolve within weeks. What once seemed impossible now becomes the only chance of survival. Among the military ranks, volunteers pour in, young pilots, old veterans, mechanics and builders, each ready to give everything for the cause. Training accelerates. Beyond reason, simulators buzz day and night. Recruits collapse from exhaustion, then rise again. Driven by fury at the sight of children stolen by tyrants, the whispers spread through the camps. This is no longer only about the 10 students, it is about every child, every family, every human who deserves to live free under the stars. Parents of the captured students are given seats in the councils, their voices sharp and unyielding. They remind the leaders that time is a weapon, and every moment wasted is another wound upon the children. Their grief fuels the urgency of the mission, and the leaders find themselves cornered not by the Empire, but by their own people who refuse to be silenced. Across the globe, factories roar into life. Assembly lines building ships, not for trade, not for exploration, but for war. Nations that once fought each other now share designs, fuel and soldiers. Enemies turned into allies. By necessity, the world feels smaller yet stronger, united under the banner of survival. The decision is made quietly but firmly. Humanity will not beg, it will not kneel, it will fight. The Empire may command countless stars, but Earth has something the Empire cannot measure. It has the raw desperation of a species pushed to the edge and the fire of a people who refuse to lose their children. The decision to resist spreads like lightning across Earth, and with it begins a fever of creation unlike anything the planet has ever known. Factories, once built for cars and planes, are transformed into war foundries, their smoke rising like banners of defiance. Entire cities humming with the sound of machines forging weapons meant not for earthly battlefields, but for the black oceans of the Starzine. Hidden hangars deep beneath mountains. Engineers labor without pause, combining human engines with shards of alien technology recovered from secret vaults. Engines glow with unstable energy. New alloys are hammered together with desperate precision. Every mistake means Another day lost, another life at risk, but there is no time for hesitation. The clock of war ticks faster with every passing hour. The first prototypes rise from the ground, small, sleek vessels unlike anything seen before their wings. Sharp, their engines burning brighter than any jet. The test pilots climb into cockpits, hearts pounding. They whisper the names of the stolen students as prayers before launch, then ignite into the sky, leaving blazing trails across the night. Entire crowds gather in silence below, watching as humanity reaches upward, not in exploration but in vengeance. Training camps expand across deserts and coastlines. Soldiers once bound to their nations now wear a single uniform marked with the emblem of Earth. They march in unison. Pilots drill in simulators that rattle and shake. Engineers teach each other in hurried whispers and sleepless nights. Food is scarce, fuel is rationed. Yet morale surges, for every person knows what is at stake. The lives of 10 students, the dignity of an entire species. The parents of the captured children are escorted through the halls of command, their grief carved into their faces, yet their words ignite fire in the hearts of all who hear them. They tell stories of laughter, of birthdays, of the innocence stolen by the Empire. They remind the soldiers that they are not only fighting for children but for the future of every child that will ever be born on Earth. Tears fall, but those tears harden into iron satellites orbiting above are repurposed into eyes of war, scanning the heavens, charting the movements of alien vessels. Scientists whisper of weaknesses, tiny cracks in the overwhelming might of the Empire, places where speed, cunning, and sacrifice might turn the impossible into the possible. Every discovery is celebrated not with cheer, but with grim determination. The world begins to look upward, not with fear, but with fury. Cities once divided by culture and history now paint murals of the captured students' faces upon walls, as if to remind everyone of why they must fight. Children in schools recite the names of the abducted each morning, their voices like vows across classrooms that are now shadowed by war-a-thon. Comes the day when the first fleet is unveiled. The ships line the airfields, gleaming under floodlights, their engines pulsing like hearts forged from fire. The people gather to witness history unfolding, cheers rising into the night. Air leaders speak of sacrifice, generals speak of victory, but all eyes return to the ships, for they are no longer symbols of fear. They are the embodiment of humanity's choice to rise and fight. The night of the launch arrives, heavy with anticipation. The airfields glow under towers of light engines, hum with raw power. Soldiers and civilians gather, shoulder to shoulder, their breath visible in the cold night as they stare at the fleet that now belongs not to nations, but to humanity itself. Banners of Earth wave in the wind, though no single flag can represent all who stand. Therefore, this is no longer about borders. It is about survival. It is about the 10 children stolen into the stars. Pilots climb ladders into their cockpits, their faces grim, their eyes burning with determination, each one carrying the weight of millions who watch them from across the world. Technicians strap them in check. Systems whisper prayers, though no religion can guarantee their return. The hum of the ships deepens, vibrating through the ground, rattling bones, as if the planet itself knows it is sending its children into danger. Families watch from massive screens set up in city squares, parents clutching children tight, some sobbing, others whispering words of pride. Students in classrooms gather around old televisions, teachers unable to keep tears from their eyes as they see their world transformed into something unrecognizable. Humanity, once bound to Earth, now preparing to pierce the heavens with steel and fire. Commanders give the final signal. Lights flash across the runways, engines ignite with a roar unlike anything heard before, waves of heat sweeping across the gathered crowds. The ships rise slowly at first, then faster, bursting into the night sky, leaving trails of fire and thunder. Entire cities shake as the fleet ascends higher and higher until only streaks of light remain, painted across the heavens like the first lines of a new chapter in human history. In orbit, the fleet forms ranks, their sleek forms gleaming against the backdrop of stars. Pilots check weapons, scientists monitor shields, generals issue final instructions. Every voice carries urgency, for there is no second chance. The enemy will not wait, the students will not wait, and humanity cannot afford hesitation. On the ground, celebrations erupt, fireworks, exploding, cheers echoing through valleys. Yet beneath the joy lies fear, for every soul knows the cost of this mission could be everything. Mothers whisper goodbye to children who dream of becoming pilots. Fathers place hands over hearts, as if shielding themselves from the thought of loss. The world is united, but unity does not erase the dread of sacrifices. The fleet pushes beyond the orbit of the moon. Silence fills the cabins of the pilots, the earth shrinking behind them, blue and fragile, the weight of their task pressing heavier than the pull of gravity. They think of the 10 students, their faces flashing in their minds. They think of the Empire, whose shadow stretches across countless worlds, and they wonder what fate awaits them in the cold depths ahead. Yet none turn back, none hesitate, for the moment has passed. For fear, this is the moment of resolve. Humanity has taken its first step into war, not as explorers, not as wanderers, but as warriors bound together by grief, anger, and unshakable love for those who must be saved. The fleet drifts beyond the reach of Earth, and the silence of space presses upon every pilot, every soldier, every soul aboard the ships. They stare into the endless black, broken only by distant stars, each light a reminder of how small they are, and how vast the Empire must be. Yet the thought does not weaken them, it hardens their resolve, for they know the Empire does not fear the strong it mocks. The weakened humanity refuses to be mocked any longer. Scouts move ahead, their sensors stretched thin across the void, scanning for signals, scanning for shadows, and soon the first signs appear, faint whispers of alien transmissions, coded pulses that crackle across the fleet. The commanders gather in war rooms, voices steady though their eyes betray the storm within. The Empire is near, closer than expected. The enemy has already begun to notice the defiance of Earth. Suddenly, the silence is broken by alarms. Crimson lights flash within the cockpits, the screens alive with images of colossal vessels emerging from the dark. The Empire has arrived, their ships vast like mountains of steel, their hulls glowing with alien fire weapons, protruding like claws meant to shred the stars themselves. The pilots of Earth feel their hearts pound faster than their engines, yet none faltered. The first volley is unleashed, beams of energy lancing through the void, burning past shields and grazing hulls. The shock rattles the human ships, the soundless scream of battle echoing through vibrations. Rather than air commanders bark orders, formations tighten weapons, charge. Human cannons roar with streaks of light. Missiles burst forward like flares in the night, colliding with alien armor and leaving scars, though shallow, upon the Titans. The soldiers realize quickly what the Empire intends. This is not a battle of annihilation. It is a demonstration, a message meant to break their courage before it can grow. The Empire expects them to retreat, to shatter under the weight of overwhelming firepower. But the humans refuse. The thought of the 10 children trapped within glass pods fills every heart and turns fear into fury. One squadron dives through enemy fire, weaving between beams that could tear them apart, their captain leading with reckless brilliance. His ship battered, yet still flying, he strikes at the weak points revealed by scientists back on Earth. Cracks in the armor where alien metal bends. Missiles slam into those points. Explosions bloom across the hulls of the Empire ships, sparks scattering into the dark. The first victory, no matter how small, ignites cheers across the comms. But the celebration is brief, for more Empire ships slip from the shadows, their numbers endless, like waves of an ocean, crashing against stones. The humans fight with every weapon, every ounce of strength, but the truth becomes clear. They cannot win in open war. Not yet. They must survive. They must adapt. They must push deeper into enemy territory if they are to find the children and bring them home. The fleet pulls together, shields, overlapping engines, burning hotter than ever. The battle rages across the stars, but within the chaos, a path opens, a narrow corridor torn through fire and destruction, and the commanders know this is their chance to slip past the blockade and chase the trail of the stolen students. The human fleet pushes through the narrow corridor carved from fire and smoke, engines straining, shields flickering, yet they press forward into the deeper regions of Empire space. The stars here burn differently, brighter, sharper, their light casting eerie shadows across the cockpits of the pilots, as if even the heavens themselves belong to the Empire. The commanders know they cannot face the enemy in open combat again. Not yet, so they order silence radios, muted weapons dimmed, and ships gliding like shadows among the stars, their hearts thundering louder than their engines, every eye fixed on the screens. searching for a trace of the students who are now the beating pulse of the mission. Scouts intercept fragments of transmissions from the Empire, voices, cold and mechanical, boasting of human children captured and held as trophies, whispers of experiments, of indoctrination, of futures stolen before they even had a chance to begin. The words fill the soldiers with rage, yet they know anger alone will doom them. Patience and cunning must guide their blades until the moment of strike. Within the fleet, a smaller group of ships breaks away, carrying the most daring of warriors chosen for their skill and their willingness to embrace death if it means the chance of rescue. They move ahead as infiltrators, weaving through debris fields, drifting past Empire patrols, hiding behind asteroids where shadows grant cover their silence. A prayer, their courage, a flame. One pilot whispers the names of the 10 students over the come before they cut it again, each name like a vow, each syllable a reminder of why they risk everything for it. Is not glory they seek, it is not conquest, it is simply the return of those stolen lives, and the proof that humanity will never abandon its own. At last, the infiltrators find their target, a massive fortress ship suspended above a crimson planet, its hull, shaped like a blade cutting through the void. Towers rise from its surface like thorns, glowing with alien fire. Countless windows flicker with life. The prison of the 10 children lies within its heart, guarded by soldiers of the Empire, who do not fear death, for they have long forgotten what it means to be mortal. The humans watch from a distance, their ships cloaked by shadows, their breaths shallow, their hands trembling as they take in the scale of the enemy stronghold. It is not only a prison, it is a monument of power built to remind the galaxy that resistance is hopeless. Yet, to the humans, it becomes a symbol of what must be torn down. Plans are whispered in the dark corridors of the fleet, blueprints drawn upon flickering screens, strategies built upon desperation, and fragments of stolen knowledge. Some argue for a direct assault, others for sabotage, others still for stealth, but in the end all know the same truth. They must enter that fortress ship, they must fight through its halls, and they must bring the children back. The time for hiding is nearly over. The storm is about to begin, and humanity prepares itself to carve a wound into the very heart of the Empire. The infiltrator squadron drifts closer to the fortress ship, each vessel cloaked in silence as if holding its breath. The crimson planet burns below, casting red light across the hulls of the human ships like blood painted upon steel. Inside the cockpits, pilots grip their controls tighter than ever, knowing that the next step will carry them past the point of no return. They cut their engines and drift with the pull of gravity toward the massive prison fortress, their ships like shadows among stars. No alarms sound, no beams of fire pierce the void. It is as if the Empire does not believe such fragile creatures as humans would dare to trespass this deep into their dominion. Arrogance becomes the cloak that shields the clamps extend with the precision of surgeons. The human ships attach to a hidden port on the lower side of the fortress, one cut and then another seals, broken by plasma torches, sparks flying in the dark corridors. Beyond silence reigns alien soldiers. March, but their routes are predictable, their arrogance shaping blind spots. The humans slip through those cracks like knives sliding through armor. The hallways of the fortress reek of cold metal and unfeeling light, walls glowing with symbols unreadable, floors humming with energy, the sound of machines that never rest. The soldiers of Earth move carefully, each step echoing louder in their minds than in reality. Weapons, raised eyes, sharp adrenaline pumping through their veins. The mission now no longer a dream but a reality. They split into groups, one heading toward the central prison chambers, where the 10 students are believed to be kept, the other toward the control rooms meant to disable alarms and defenses. Whispers pass between them. Overtight comes steady and calm, though every word is coated in fear and resolve. In the prison wing they find the pods glowing like cages of crystal. Inside each pitch one, a human child floats, suspended between life and sleep tubes, running into their bodies, faces pale yet untouched by pain. The sight rips into the hearts of the rescuers, fury igniting in their veins. But before they can shatter the pods, alien guards appear, their forms towering, armored, their eyes burning with an otherworldly glow, weapons raised, ready to annihilate intruders. The corridor explodes with battle plasma beams streaking across the air, bullets tearing into armor, sparks bursting against walls. The humans fight with desperation, moving faster, striking harder, for they know every second counts. The names of the children pound in their hearts with each pull of the trigger, every scream silenced by the drive to win or die in this place. Meanwhile, in the control chambers, the second group hacks into alien Systems fingers dancing across stolen consoles, alarms flicker to life then die, as human hands override them, defenses crackle. Then falter, screens show chaos as the Empire struggles to comprehend that fragile humans have dared to crawl inside their fortress like fire ants inside a giant machine at last. The first pods of freed glass shattering, tubes ripped away. Children gasping as they awaken, eyes wide with confusion and terror, voices whispering weakly yet alive, hope flares like fire in the hearts of the rescuers. Yet the battle is far from done, for the Empire has now seen the intrusion, and its fury is gathering like a storm. The fortress ship trembles as alarms finally awaken. The corridors blaze with crimson light, echoing through endless halls. Like a beating heart, the sound of heavy footsteps rattles the floor as legions of Empire soldiers pour forth their weapons, glowing with energy, their voices cold, mechanical, and merciless. The humans clutch the freed children against their chests, their weapons firing back as they retreat. Step by step through the choking fire of battle, the children are weak, their bodies shaking from the long suspension in the pods, yet their eyes widen as they see the faces of their rescuers. The soldiers whisper, "You are safe now," even as they bleed, even as explosions tear chunks from the walls, their words like a shield, stronger than steel. Hope flows between the humans and the children, binding them in a vow that none will be left behind. The infiltrator squad splits, one group carrying the students toward the docking port while the others remain behind to cover the retreat. The sacrifice understood without being spoken, their gunfire rattles down the halls, their shouts echoing with fury and courage. Alien soldiers fall, but more arrive, their numbers endless. The fortress itself feels alive, resisting every step. At docking bay, ships shudder as systems scream from overload. The Empire has begun to lock the exit's steel barriers, dropping like guillotines, engines powering down as the alien control overrides. The humans race against time-hacking systems with stolen codes, slamming explosives against walls. Every second a battle between despair and defiance. One soldier rips open a panel with bare hands, sparks slicing his skin as he forces a bypass, and at last, the clamps release. The pods carrying the children are loaded into the ships, their rescuers strapping them down while still firing through open hatches. One pilot screams into the comms that they are surrounded, but another voice rises, calm and steady. "Keep going, we did not come this far to die." Here, the engines ignite, the ships lurch forward into the void behind them. The fortress erupts with light as Empire cannons awaken, beams of fire carving through space, chasing the fleeing vessels. Shields buckle under the fury of the Empire, cracks spreading across hulls, alarms wailing inside cockpits, yet still they press forward. The planet below glowing red as if mocking the fragile hope that dares to escape. Then from the blackness above, the main human fleet descends like avenging spirits, missiles streaking past the infiltrators, smashing into the fortress cannons, beams of light slashing against Empire warships. Chaos erupts across the sector, the Empire caught off guard by the sheer audacity of human defiance. The fortress reels under the assault, and for a heartbeat the path is clear. The infiltrator ships streak toward the fleet engines, burning brighter than ever, the children crying out as G-forces slam them back, yet alive, breathing awake, their voices rising into the comms, weak but real. The pilots hear them, and their eyes fill with fire, for this is not defeat, this is survival, this is proof that humanity will not bow. The battle still rages, the Empire still vast and merciless, but a spark has been lit, one that cannot be extinguished. The children are free, the humans are bloodied yet unbroken, and war has begun, not as the Empire intended but as humanity demanded. A war not of conquest but of rescue, a war born from love and defiance,